Our next speakers are Mr. Charlie Farr and Ben Williams with the North Florida Prescribed Burn Association, and they are coming to us virtual. So we're gonna everybody be patient. Hopefully, we're gonna get through this really nice and easy. So, Mr. Ben and Mr. Charlie, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. We are coming to you from Northwest St. Johns County, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the North Florida Prescribed Burn Association. And I'm going to hopefully
how's that north arm looking? It looks fabulous. Nice.
This is a burn that we did in Putnam County last year, and we're using dot ignition. So this is who we are. And I'm Charlie Farr, and Ben Williams is going to be in here in just a minute. And we founded this organization in January of 2018 with 18 original members. And our purpose is to mainly assist small landowners to safely burn their lands. For many reasons, these landowners tend to have difficulty finding help to burn. And the PBA is a cooperative organization to do that burning, and it requires landowner participation in all aspects of the burn process. We are not contractors, nor do we charge landowners. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our successes that we've had over the since 2020. We've had 6 educational opportunities. Those include 3 post-burn evaluation on 9 properties and 3 general meetings. We've had over 50 landowner evaluations. Probably that number, some of these numbers are approximate. That number is probably closer to 100. We've had 2 training sessions in prescription writing and herbicide workshop, 2 tree planting events, and as of April this month, we have 72 members. So we've grown from 18 to 72 members. And the photograph on the right is one of the post-burn evaluations that we did. So in that period of time, we've had 175 burns, approximately 25 acres per burn, over 4,000 acres burned, and over 3,500 total volunteer hours. And we've minted 6 new prescription burn managers. And the photograph shows one of the tree plantings that we did this year. So Ben is now going to take over.
All right, segueing off of what Charlie said about the number of burns we've had and the number of certified burners we've been able to get through the process and certified. And we have another 4 or 5 folks waiting in the wings, waiting for the Florida Forest Service to get the program up and running again so we can get them through there. Take a minute and consider, though, that we ran 175 burns, and Charlie said the average is 25. The median, 25 acres, the median would actually be somewhat below that. And those 52 site visits, and as he said, it is closer to 100. And oftentimes when Barry goes to do a site visit, he will take members of the PBA that are in the learning process, so they learn about another landowner's land. So there's a lot of learning going on there. It's not just Barry going to a site visit to talk to a landowner, but it's actually other PBA members going along and learning about that at the same time. And of course, the landowner that's getting visited is learning. Implicit in all of that is that we are assisting in getting fire lines in. Charlie mentioned the workshop on herbicides. It is giving other landowners confidence in using herbicides to prepare their land for burning. And all of those things are from all of us interacting with one another within the organization. The other thing is a lot of these burns, again, as I mentioned, that the median is below 25. A whole lot of these burns we're doing are first burns. They are properties where there hasn't been fire in a very, very long time. We're getting the fire lines in. We're exposing the members and the owner of the property to prescribed fire. They've obviously already want to have prescribed fire in their land, but we're getting them exposed and getting them to participate in a group organization, which is kind of important. It gives them a sense of security. And as far as the safety stress point, we have crew briefings at the beginning of every burn, and that's whether it's Barry Coulette, who's our coordinator, doing a and he is very detailed when he does a crew briefing, or when it happens to be a smaller burn where we have landowners that will call 1 or 2 or 3 other PBA members that they know to come and help them burn. And we've gotten to that point where that is a successful thing. And that was always part of the plan, is that we would get landowners cooperating and helping each other. And so they are doing these crew briefings beforehand. They've seen them done before. They understand the importance of it, of identifying potential dangers on the fire line, of going around your burn and identifying the potential things that are going to be smokers along the edge that are going to have to be taken care of, or that are potential for fall over later. So all of these learning things are happening. And after we do a burn, whether it is Barry that's done a larger burn, or 3 or 4 landowners, there is always an after action meeting. A review. We all sit down and we discuss what went wrong, what went right, and what you learned. And if you've done that a whole bunch of times, sometimes you get to a point where you think it's a little bit silly. And then later on, if you really think about it, there is always something learned. And the landowners, it builds confidence in hearing that, because they understand that surrounding them are people that might have 20, 30, 50, 100. In Barry's instance, I don't know how many hundreds of burns. And invariably, somebody in that group with a lot of experience is talking about something they learned. And Greg Siemens mentioned 2 things. He mentioned field experience and building confidence. And that is what the Prescribed Burn Association has been doing. We've done it by the things that Charlie just mentioned, by actually going out and doing. The Learn and Burn is another example of that. And the Learn and Burns are not just for our members. The Learn and Burns, when we hold them, they are advertised on the Florida Land Steward, and sent out, and anybody that wants to participate can come and learn. And we have had those Learn and Burns not just on members' properties, but we have done those things. And one perfect example is on Rhoda Haver's Boys Ranch. We did a 2-day Learn and Burn there and burned their property for them. So these things are accomplishing the goal of training our members, but also giving the opportunity for non-members to learn. And another thing that is very important is the sweat equity part of it. And I realize I skipped one and went down to the next one, but that was purposeful, is the sweat equity part of this. Landowners are expected to participate. We do not just let somebody sign up for $100 for 3 years and all of a sudden Barry's going to go out, set up the prescription, help them get their fire lines in, and then a bunch of volunteers are going to show up and build their land. This is a cooperative organization. People are expected to invest sweat equity into it. And the beauty of the sweat equity is that they learn about prescribed fire, and then they pass that on to their neighbors when a burn is going on their property. And that's another important part of it. And that segues down into the outreach part of it. And if I can spend a minute on the outreach, and this is something that we've noticed as the Prescribed Burn Association, when we have new members, is almost invariably, there'll be somebody there that's either scared of it or has a misconception of it. And I'll give you a perfect example. We had reporters from the Palatka Daily News at our place when we did a burn a week ago on Sunday. And one of the reporters actually said that they thought it was so odd that we were burning when he knew he'd been told all his life, Smokey the Bear said, you're not supposed to burn. And so it was an opportunity to outreach to these folks, to spend 2 or 3 hours with them on the fire line. And they ended up doing a front page, half the front page of the Palatka Daily News. And I realize newspapers aren't what they used to be, but they still get a lot of coverage, which was positive about prescribed fire. And in the field of outreach, and we all know that we have to have constituency for prescribed fire. And in the field of outreach, we have participated in the Flatwoods Fire and Nature Festival. We have significant dollars budgeted for the next one. We are participating in the planning process, providing volunteers for that. And our members during the last 3 or 4 years that we've been doing this have hosted on their properties at one time or another master naturalist classes. We've had on our place 3 different classes from the University of North Florida and done 2 in-person talks to them. The Audubon Society, the Florida Native Plant Society. Charlie and I have gone and spoken to the FWC commissioners twice about prescribed burning, and obviously they know all about prescribed burning, but making sure that there's a constituency out there for it and that they should be supporting it. We had the Putnam County Fire Chiefs Association, and you don't think about that, but when so much of the Southeast is under the control of volunteer fire departments, that's a big deal to get those folks involved. Boy Scout groups, Farm Credit board and staff. I know that doesn't sound like the folks that are in this room, but those are folks that when you get them and you get the ability to present a positive message before them, ultimately that accrues good to the whole concept of provide prescribed fire in the South. And I could go on about the outreach, but it is very important to us. It has become a standard thing that we within the Prescribed Burn Association do. And I'm going to leave it off there and let Charlie have it back.
All right, thank you, Ben. This is just some pictures of on the fire line. But all these successes have not come without challenges. We've had challenges like everybody has with the pandemic. We had to restrict our general meetings and our board meetings to Zoom meetings. Ben mentioned we've had difficulty getting people certified because of the attenuation of classes. The management of growth in membership and the number of burns. As you all know, we have a compressed burn season, and it's sometimes hard to get all the burns we want done actually completed. The availability of affordable insurance has been an issue. And then actually just managing the volunteer and database. It's hard to manage all these volunteers. And we've just recently made a place for a volunteer coordinator to help us arrange for people to attend these events. This is a burn.
It's a flanking fire.
It's a flanking fire at Ben's place last year or this year?
Last year.
Last year.
And it stood down very shortly after that. It was taken.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I think that's about all the time we have for questions. Thank you.